What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bluzelle today, BLZ. This one comes to us at the request of Mr. Cosmo Koala. I believe that's you, Danny. I think that's who it is. So anyways, without any further ado, let's get into this. I actually made a video on this a few days ago, and it didn't upload, so a couple days ago I actually talked about it on the live stream, but I have been meaning to post a video on this for a little bit now, just because, you know, things have not gone the way that I originally anticipated, but I do think they inevitably will kind of succumb to these more bearish circumstances. We are continuing to build higher daily highs. I mean, I guess as of yesterday, not really, but we're building higher daily highs with decreasing volume, and that to me just says that this move is we're seeing exhaustion here, right? There's not more interest coming into this thing as it's going higher. There's less interest. So where are you going to find more interest? Probably, you know, at lower prices. You know, we can make a snowman here if it makes you happy, but I do think that it goes lower regardless of anything else I've said. Anyways, looking at this thing on the RSI here on the daily, we did get into the overbought zone and we rejected out of it pretty quickly. We were in there for about 2 days and then came right out of it. We actually are bouncing off of the bullish area of control right now. I think that for the bears, especially, man, with how bullish of a look this would have been, bouncing off of this 60 area, like literally bouncing right off of it, having a bullish engulfing candle. You know, we did all this and now we came back down. That's why we have this wick here. Closing this day red and getting below this 60 on the RSI, I think would be a stab in the heart to the bulls, beyond the fact that we've wicked up. But, you know, we've had a couple times where we've wicked up, came down, and then we just continue to climb higher. So that's not too detrimental to the momentum that the bulls are establishing here. But I think what would be to have a red candle here, another red candle to confirm this downside, getting out of the bullish area of control, maybe start to see some of these lower readings in the RSI itself. I do think the RSI on the daily overall looks good. On the weekly, it looks even better. Very, very strong. But, you know, you're overbought right now. You're quite high, actually. Let's see. How high are you? I mean, if you were to close the week right here, this is like the fourth highest peak that you've ever seen. So let's just kind of compare that to what happened at these other times. So here, you know, because we weren't overbought here, the RSI didn't exist. And I'm fairly positive this is the most. If I go BLZ USD, if I go to crypto, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's the most. It's got the most historical data with volume on it. And it's on Binance, so I feel comfortable using this. But here, when you're up this high, let's take it into account real quick. Let's do some like in-depth analysis. I haven't done this in a while because I feel like I haven't noticed stuff like this. But let's see. You were in the overbought zone for 8 weeks. 8 weeks, okay. And throughout that 8 weeks, basically on, yeah, I guess that 7th week there, that's where you topped off, and then you went down. High or low overall, you continued to go higher afterwards, but you did have a bit of a dry spell going to the downside for a little bit there. We are above the purple line and we're below the 50, so I would think this would be a good time to sell, personally. That's just me. We've been, I don't know, you've been above the purple line and below the 50 before, though, and if you sold, it would have been smart overall, but at the same time, holding it as support, that should have counteracted this whole, if you're unaware, the way that I have this RSI set up here, this is the long-term RSI. It's the 123 RSI set up with the 123 moving average. I've noticed, and it's not always, but generally speaking, when this long-term RSI is below the 50, but price is above the 123 moving average, it's a good time to sell. If price is below that moving average, but the RSI is above the 50 on this long-term RSI here, it's a good time to buy, generally. But there's tricks that I've noticed throughout my time that kind of can nullify that. And hugging this, finding it as support time and time again, I think should have been the signal that this buying below the 50 here, even though you're above the purple line, would have been a good time. Anyways, moving on from that, let's see. How long were we overbought here for? I just felt like I needed to explain because I haven't explained in a while. Let's see, maybe here. And then this day, was it that day that you did? Was it this week? No, you were out of it that week. So it was only 5 weeks this time. And yes, there's line past this, but that line didn't anchor until, let me really zoom in to make sure I'm getting it. That line didn't anchor until it was out of the overbought zone. So we are going to be technical with this. This is technical analysis after all. 5 bars, 8 bars, and here we are now we've been in this thing for about 5 bars. So we have hit the kind of average area of this range, right? Let's see. Let me just make sure I did this one right too here. So we're going to be technical. Let's be technical. So this is wrong. This one's wrong, actually. It was the 7th bar. The 7th bar, the one that we actually topped off on. And then here we were in the overbought zone. So 7 bars and 5 bars. Right now we are in our 5th week being overbought. Believe. Yes. 5th week being overbought. It's coming to an end in 4 hours and 45 minutes. We have moved up for the last 6 weeks in a row. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? It says 5 bars. It doesn't include the first one. That's why. So it's 5 bars from the starting point. So we're in our 6th week now, green in a row. I think that it is time for this thing to turn around. We might have one more green week in us. Turning around on the 7 is totally possible, and that happens as well. But we could turn around on the 6 too. It's totally fine. Looking at the daily, there's not a whole lot to go off of on this RSI. Other than, it looks strong. I would say that it definitely looks strong. The only thing that kind of counteracts that is the volume in itself is not looking strong. You do have a flat top right here, like in this very small kind of area right here with an ascending bottom coming into it. That is bullish just in itself. I have to say that that is bullish. Let's go to BLZ USDT because we're looking at the more immediate time frames here. Still not impressive volume though. So I don't know. I don't really know what to think of this. The volume, seeing it like this, does make me inherently bearish. This day right here, to me, it was producing false hope. And I think by the end of this day, it'll close like this, looking very bearish, if not closing to the red, which would also look bearish, obviously. Where could we go ultimately from here? If we were to take this low here to the high, we could go to the 382, which is right there at about 10.2 cents. Maybe we even go to the 618 to the 69, which is just below this purple line here, around 7.25 to 6.5 cents, somewhere in there, the sweet spot right between these two white lines here. And then the RSI itself might come down to the oversold zone on the daily. Maybe it bounces off of it, maybe it goes into it, something like that, but I think a move like that would put us in a position down there. Though on the weekly, I wouldn't expect that we see the oversold zone. I would expect that we kind of hold this trend. Maybe we go below the 50, but one way or another, I think this move, this up move, is coming to an end. I don't think that it has much more room for growth if it grows at all. But the price action itself is like the one thing that makes me a little bit hesitant to call this thing bearish. The volume to me looks bearish. The weekly time frame that we're in with being overbought this long, I feel like that's appropriate. We are, let's see if we're at an appropriate area with the fibs too, top to bottom. We're not. So see this right here, top to bottom, we really could go up to the 1272, which is all the way at 19 cents. We're at 15.2 cents now. Maybe we could make another move all the way up there. It is a previous area that we found resistance before, right? Or support even. We found support here, resistance, resistance. We could be finding resistance on it now, resistance there. It's hard to say, but my gut, my feelings are just the same as they've been throughout this range that's just been slowly crawling upwards. I think that we're going to go down soon, but we just might not go as low as I was originally thinking. Originally back here, if we take this low to high again, I was thinking that we would go probably down to about 7 to 6.3 cents, somewhere in that area. But now I'm not so strongly believing that we see the 618 to the 69. I think we might actually hold support at this 382 to 0.5 area. Maybe we even break the 0.5, but we don't actually bounce off the 618. You don't have to go to these lines. It's not like a direct order that has to happen. No, it can, we can go in between them and bounce from there. That's totally fine. But right now my eyes are definitely on this area. And if you want to buy here, that's up to you. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. We could make another move up. That is totally possible. That 1272 is right there at 19 cents, which is just a little bit higher. Let's see if this one matches up with that. I mean, right there, 19.8 cents. That 1272 is there too, so that checks out. It really could. And this daily RSI does look bullish. It's just the volume that has me, man. It really, I'm not too impressed by this volume. Could it make another spike up in price and the volume itself makes a spike too, and that volume is just like lower than this one? Sure. That could take us to 19 cents, sure. But regardless, I'm not buying this thing. I'm waiting for it to come down lower. I definitely want to get into this thing, but I'm not going to buy it here, not at the top of this overall consolidation phase. I'm going to wait for a pullback personally. That's what I'm doing. And you know, you guys do what you want. It's your money. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do think that the 4-hour RSI is starting to look a little bit weaker. You've got lower highs and lower lows. You are potentially rejecting this 50 area, which is key, right? You've done it before. Found a little bit of resistance here. Yeah, a little bit right there too. It could send us a little bit down, but just because we go down, we're at 15.2 cents now. Just because we go down to, like, let's say 14 cents from here, that doesn't mean that higher high at about 19 to 20 cents isn't still at play. It still is at play. I would say it is in play until we really get a day to close below $12.16. And being at 15.22 right now, that's a bit of a way. I said $12. I'm sorry, 12.16. 12 cents, 0.16, not $12. I'm sorry. And being at 15.22 cents, that is a bit of a ways away at the moment. That would take us about, yeah, like 20% down, which we can do that in a day. We can do that over several days. It doesn't have to happen immediately, but ultimately, guys, the place that I'm looking at right now for a buy is, as it's been for the last week or so now, it's at this 382 at the around 10.2 cent area, with the potential to see something in this range between these two white lines here. But we'll know more about that. We'll have a better understanding if that's actually going to happen, if and when we break this line, how we interact with it, and how the RSIs, how the indicators look, stuff like that, the overall climate of the market. Right now, I feel like things are overly bullish. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, I could be in the majority of people who thinks that things are overly bullish, and I could be wrong. But I think the majority of people are a little bit bullish on what hasn't been like too exciting price action. I'm not talking about Bluzelle. This price action is very exciting, but I'm talking about Bitcoin, right? The Mac Daddy itself, because people are getting excited and super bullish, and all we've done this week is we're up 2.61% as of right now. So it's like, I think we're bored, guys. We're really bored. So any type of movement up is just like, oh, bull market. Any type of move down is, oh, it's bear market, you know. And I don't think we're in either right now. I think that we are. I mean, I think that we're in the bull market, as in we're not going to find lower lows overall for most cryptos, for Bitcoin specifically. But I do think that we're in more or less a crab market where things are going to be stagnant and boring and just uneventful. You know, with moments of eventfulness that will then be given back to wherever the norm is. But I do think, again, just to close this video off, I think that we go down to about 10 cents. We are in that time range where we've been overbought for quite a while. We are, you know, at a previous area where we've rejected as well before. We're higher than this one over here, but we're also like, let's see, out of all the peaks on the weekly. Oh, wait, this isn't it, is it? Sorry, BLZ USD on Binance. Oh, that is all of it, I guess. Okay, so yeah, this is the 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth highest, yeah, peak that we've ever had. I think we're getting near the time that we could turn around for sure. It looks like last time that we did this, right, we came up, we came down and hugged the purple line. The purple line here right now is at about 13 cents. This purple line can continue to go down, and maybe by the time it hits 10 cents, that would be, I mean, that'd be toward the end of the year. I mean, that 10-cent target, it could take the rest of the year to hit, especially if we go up from here. So just keep in mind, guys, that if it turns up from here, that's not something to completely unexpect. But ultimately, I do think that it will revert back to about that 10-cent area. That's where I'm looking for. So anyways, if you like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.